can emphasize this point enough, can we?
Transport.
Transport is expensive in South Africa. It costs youngsters a significant proportion of their entry-level salary, and it's a major driver in attrition. So we as an organisation started to think very carefully and around how do you source people from which areas, what does it mean to be one taxi ride away from work, is that appropriate, how much are employers paying, is it too little, can we influence employers as well, you know, I mean we certainly have started to do that. Where we say, listen guys, if a youngster is paying more than 40% of their salary on transport, you are not going to keep them. So we can't change the transport costs, you guys can change your entry-level salaries. So it definitely opens opportunities to start talking about transport and looking at it in different ways. What is also quite shocking in terms of what we've learned is that that first 6 weeks that people have to get to work is really difficult because payroll hasn't run. You've come from an impoverished community or a low-income community. You now need to fund your transport in those first 6 weeks, and you have no paycheck to do it. So what we're seeing is that a significant portion of our population have to borrow that money to get to work. And we've got about 11% of our population who are paying 40% in interest charges on what they are borrowing in those first 6 weeks. So there's irresponsible lending going on, and it just paints such a sober picture.
And I guess the opposite side of that, where borrowing doesn't happen, is then the young person doesn't pitch for work on Monday because they're too embarrassed to call the manager and say, actually I don't have money to come to work. And even if I told you I don't have money to come to work, it's perhaps not your problem to solve.
Yeah.
So all of these, you know, the data that we have informs some of the conversations that we have with employers, whether it's at contracting stage or whether it's at retention stage, to already try and anticipate some of the problems that we may have that are specific to that sector.
As we progress with Harambee, we're learning that so much needs to be done on the demand side. So I think when we started, there was a lot of concentration on candidates and what can we do to assist candidates, but what we're learning is that there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the employer side and to open conversations and make employers aware. So very often when I show my employers the slide about the fact that if you are spending 49 Rand on transport a day, you've got 25 Rands to live on. You know, that's to buy formula, nappies, electricity, water, rent, food, a Coke. That's what you're taking home. You know, so these are they're very somber conversations to have with employers as well.